Hello and welcome back to the regular show. I'm just appreciating the amount of water that is now in Vuyatela Dam. That's nice to see. Well, we know it's not going to be there for very long. I want to talk to James. I miss him. James for Taylor. That's how you shouldn't call people on the Game Drive radio. I'll be showing you what not to do on Safari. He did it back. James, are you going to Torchwood? Okay, thank you. Bye. So that's how you shouldn't talk on a Game Drive radio, but there's no one else really driving around today, so we can be a little bit unprofessional, which is quite nice. And also, I'm not on my Game Drive radio very often. I normally have it switched off. Sometimes I forget that I even have one. Anyway, so as you probably picked up in the conversation that James and I had, is that I would like to investigate around Torchwood. I think that's what I'm going to do. Craig's misbehaving at the back of the car. Craig, I'll get a stick if you're not careful. Just listening? Okay, there we go. Steve Orville is also out, but he's with Collie. I think they're doing a little bit of birding. It sounds like they did find the lions again, though. But I know that they had a bit of trouble this morning with signal, so we will head in the direction of Torchwood and see if we can't pick up on Tundi. I know Kuchava's sort of been pushed further east, so we might not be able to go kind of all the way down there. So we'll have a look for Tundi, I think. Shelley, unfortunately, I don't know if I'm going to be able to show you Janet Jackson, who is a Janet Jackson, sorry. No, I definitely can't show you Janet Jackson. That'd be amazing. Goodness. Celebrity safaris, which I still think is a great idea. So what we will, maybe if we get down in that region later this afternoon, but I'm not going to make any promises, unfortunately, because I would like to go and have a look in Torchwood and see what's happening there. And we obviously can't explore too much because we don't have the greatest signal that side, but I'm sure you're all absolutely dying to see Tundi, right? Yeah, I'm sure. Tundi probably won't be looking forward to seeing me, though. She always hides. All the leopards hide from me. I don't know why. If someone has the worst luck with finding leopards, it's me. Right now, we're going to carry on down this very straight road and watch all the hornbills fly past us and get into Torchwood and find Tundi. While we do that, off we go to the Mara, where Lauren is also just driving around.
And good afternoon, everyone, and it's great to be joining you finally in the afternoon. My name is Lauren, and I do have the fantastic Archie on camera today. So we were just giving you a view of the whole landscape here. I don't think I could possibly ever get tired of looking at that. And we have just began our journey for today's drive, actually. So, as a reminder, once again, please do talk to us using the hashtag SafariLive for all your wonderful questions and your lovely comments, which I'm sure you will give. Now, in the morning's drive, for those who maybe... Oh, what do we have here? Hello, we have a little birdie up here. Wow, Archie has good eyes. How on earth did he spot that? Now that is ridiculously far away. I don't even know I could tell you what bird that is. If anyone does know, please let us know. I have a very tiny, small view of that bird there. Now, actually, on this morning's drive, I did realise that I spent so much time just gazing at the landscape that I wasn't actually able to look up to the sky. I completely forgot. Oh, hello. Archie, you have incredible eyes. Okay. We have a lioness. Look at that. Fantastic. Just panting in the wind there. Okay. I'm just going to see if I can see a way to get closer here. Yes. Okay, I don't think we can get any closer at the minute, but we're getting a perfect view just from here. Ravinda said, so cool. How did we even see that? Honestly, I take zero credit for that. Archie completely found that lioness out the blue. We were genuinely just giving you a view of the landscape, and somehow, Archie managed to spot that lioness. I cannot take any credit for it. And it's really quite far into the distance. We're not close to this lioness at all. But what I was saying was this morning was a fantastic drive. For anybody that missed it, please do check it out. I did promise some lion action and some cubs. And of course, oh, I've got a big yawn from that second lioness there. I did get distracted by hyenas, hyena cubs, and all sorts of wonderful things. So I'm going to stick to my original morning plan and try and see if we can get some lion interaction here. It would be absolutely wonderful to find some cubs. Now, I'm not sure who these lioness are yet. We're going to have to look a little bit deeper. Now, there's a comment for Tracy, but I'm not getting it. We have not very good comms at the minute, I'm afraid. I think we are just going to have to reposition in order to get a little bit of a better signal. We do have some breakup. Okay, so Tracy did say maybe she's on the hunt. That is possible. That's very possible. But we are just going to go back a little bit for now because I'm only getting every second word from FC. So let me see if we can get into a better position. Bear with me while I concentrate on my fabulous reversing skills. Okay, there we go. Is that better for you, Archie? More? Now, I've completely lost communications from FC, so I have absolutely no idea what they're saying, I'm afraid. Sorry, FC, I've lost you. I have no idea whether we're still talking or not. But I have completely lost communications with final control. Let me just check. FC, can we have a comm check? Okay, I am not hearing anything, so unfortunately it does look like we have lost final control. Archie, have you got any communication? Okay. Let me just check everything from our side. Okay. So, I don't have communication. We're going to figure it out. But let's go across to James and see what he's up to. So, you've got comms?
I don't want to die like... Hello, everybody. I was just singing myself a song there. Unfortunately, we have failed to find anything of any use whatsoever since we last saw you. But we are going to go down towards the Hyena den, because Taylor McCurdy is going to go to Tonchwood and see what she can find over there. Hopefully, Tundi and Tingana will be the answer. Now, yesterday we had 2.5 hours at the Hyena den in the full light like this, so hopefully we'll have the same when we get there now. I must apologise for all the gremlinos today. There seem to be plenty of them. Not sure why. Nobody is really, otherwise I guess we wouldn't ever have them, would we? No, we wouldn't. It's one of those very lovely summer afternoons though, where it's quite hot, but it's not beastly hot. And everything is a deep, glorious summer green. All the grasses have got their inflorescences up. The only thing lacking is, a couple of large mammal species. But the feeling that an afternoon like this gives you is just magnificent. In fact, let us stop and appreciate it for a second. I shall be quiet briefly. This normally, of course, is the cue for the cam op to move the camera off into the bush so we can see it. There we go. Ah, we are. sure how much you can hear of that, but it's just in the very dim background. There's a nediki going tick, 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 tick. Some of you saying that you're hoping we'll end the silence with a song. No, your hopes are to be dashed today, I'm afraid. And you can just hear a emerald-spotted wood dove. One or two Cape turtle doves, of course. And then just this lovely sound of the wind blowing through the grasses and the flies buzzing by. Mvere, you say you'd love to be around all this green. Yeah, it's very, very special. Very special. And as I said to those kids, the reason I became a safari guide, of course, was not through any wild desire to take people on game drives. It was just so that I wouldn't have to live in the city. Mercifully, I have managed to maintain that for much of my working life. All right, on we go. Very lucky in that respect. Taylor is now going to give you an update, apparently, on her tracking. I wonder what she's tracking.
Hello, I'm going to give you an update. Apparently there's something in the grass. It was a duiker, but we had to investigate because we weren't sure. We are on Torchwood now. How wonderful. Woo, hello. It's always fun when you can't see where the road actually goes in the grass. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to not miss any leopards today. We're going to try our best. And I did see some tlalamba footprints, which was quite nice, but they look like they're from late last night. They're quite windblown. Looks like someone's driven over them. They were going up and down. I didn't see Tundi tracks. So yeah, so we'll check here. It's a good start. That's basically the first leopard track I've seen. I've been back. I'm surprised. So we'll just have a quick little scratch around here, and hopefully when we drive past, the leopard sits up and stands on its back legs and then waves at us, so we're able to see who it is. Otherwise, now it's actually an excuse to miss leopards. Before, I don't know what was going on with me. Anyways, it was really hard to see the leopards in Sri Lanka. I cannot tell you how difficult it was. Because they were either hiding in the depths of the jungle, or they were sitting up on the top of a rock and they'd lie. You didn't see one ear, you wouldn't see the leopard. So we're going to go very slowly around here and just keep scanning.
So we did have a lioness and of course she has gone flat. So would you believe it, from the angle that my bottom is parked, I definitely cannot see her due to the length of the grass. They are completely camouflaged and disappeared here, but they are there, I assure you. Now we're just staying here a few minutes. We can't go any closer, I'm afraid, but we're just planning on staying here to see if there is movement, to see if they do perk back up again. She was actually looking very alert, sniffing and sensing the air around her, so I did wonder if she was about to be on the move. The air is getting much cooler. It's not as warm as it was. The sun is starting to go down, and that is generally when lions tend to go on the move. Archie's given us a good scan of the grass here, because believe it or not, there is a lioness. We're just completely unable to see her. Come on, ladies. Where are you? Oh, wow. We have a viewer saying that the bird before was a long-crested eagle. So, perfect. Thank you so much for that. I'm not sure where it was from. I can get Faith to tell me that again. My communications, they are not very good. I'm not sure why. So that is perfect. We have some excellent birders out there. Thank you. Now, you can see we have the huge area in front of us. Oh, that was from Joy from Hong Kong. Thank you very much. And we just know the lions are right there, and we're not quite able to see them. I don't want to leave. I don't want to miss them. But we can't see them, so at the minute we're literally just looking at tall grass. I do not know how Archie spotted them earlier. Oh, Dead Mush, I think asked, I'm only getting every second word, so I'm going to guess. Faith can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think is asking how am I dealing with the change in temperature. Now, are you meaning from Juma to here? Or from Scotland to here? That could be a double question. If it is in regards to Scotland, I am definitely enjoying it a lot more. I'm not a fan of the cold. I am definitely a fan of the warmer climate, so I am much happier to be so. It is very, very chilly here in the mornings and the evenings though, on par with Scotland, kind of. But it does, of course, warm up during the day. Okay. I'm not seeing any movement here whatsoever. I'm too scared to leave though, so maybe we should reposition and just go this way, because there is a chance we might bump into them or get a better view of maybe the rest of the pride. So bear with us. We're in a little bit of a ditch this now. Oh, okay. So you're just going to stick with us on this bumpy ride. There we go. Have you got a view again? No. Okay, so we're going to go forward and try and see if we can see these lionesses here. So bear with us. What do we have ahead? Is it the jackals? Okay, let me see if I can just get a little bit closer. I don't want to scare them. We actually saw them earlier when we were coming in. 3 jackals, I think. Yay! Okay, they're running off. I'm just going to stop here and see if Archie can just zoom in a little bit. I don't want to scare them. They were a little bit skittish earlier. Oh, there we go. Hey, black-backed jackals. You see that? They're a little bit nervous. And of course, you know exactly why. There's lions very close to us. So that's why I'm just going to park a little bit further back. And in that way, we won't scare them too much. Oh, adorable. They look quite young to me. When we passed them earlier, actually, they were very small looking. They definitely didn't look as big as the ones we saw earlier. And there's 3 of them. So 2 of them have gone this way and 1 of them's gone this way. So let's see if we can get a little bit closer without scaring them. And I'm just going to keep looking back to make sure the lionesses don't pop up. Now, jackals are brave animals, but I wouldn't go closer to these lionesses if I was them. Okay, here we go. Rosalind's asking, would the lioness go for the jackals? That's an interesting question. Jackals are obviously very slim. Look at them walking in that pair. That's adorable. They're very small, they're very fast, they're very nimble. So there is a high chance a lioness would pounce on a jackal, but would it be worth her energy expenditure? Most likely not. Now, believe it or not, they are actually heading in the direction of these lioness, but I would imagine these animals would be very aware that there's lions there and would avoid them. There is records of lions toying and playing and even hunting so many different animals of all different shapes and sizes. So in answer to your question, yes, of course they could hunt the jackals, but it's very highly likely that they would waste their time. It's not exactly the biggest snack. We can see you guys. Yes, these ones are incredibly small. I don't think they're fully grown jackals. Now they're completely heading in the direction of these lionesses. You guys better be careful. Okay, so we're going to turn again. Okay, I don't want to lose track of either of them, and see if we can get a better view. Don't want to end up going down a ditch. That would not be great for my first day in the Mara. I've probably already just done it. Alrighty, let's get on our way. I don't know where the jackals went, but I know exactly where the lionesses are. So let's see if we can follow them through. Ravinda's asking, what animal have I never seen before? You can get a view of that jackal bouncing. It's literally skipping its way through the grass. Okay, I've lost it again. Which animal have I never seen before in the Mara? Quite a few, actually. A lot of the antelope species I have never seen before. The eland, the topi, even the Thompson's gazelle. So I saw them all this morning, and that was absolutely incredible. So what other animals have I not seen? Cheetah. That's on my list. I'm yet to see the cheetah. They did make a wonderful appearance in Juma. However, I wasn't lucky enough to see them. So that is the animal that I want to see that I haven't seen up here in the Mara. Okay. Now the jackals have bounced off and the lions have gone flat. Just having a little look, bear with me. Okay, I have lost communications again. Faith, I am very sorry about it. It seems to be this area where the lioness is, where the jackals have bounded off to, that I seem to lose comms. So unfortunately, I'm not able to hear what you're saying. We're just scanning the grass here. Is that the jackal there, Archie? Oh, wow, your eyes must be absolutely incredible. He must eat a lot of carrots. So believe it or not, yeah, you can just see it. The jackal is there in amongst the grass, which was incredibly close to where the lionesses were. Okay, so I have lost communications, but we will keep going for now. But unfortunately, I am not able to hear Faith. So, oh, we have something ahead as well. I think the best thing for me to do is to move forward and hopefully get into a better signal area. I think we have a jackal up ahead as well. So Faith, if you can just keep talking to me, and as soon as your beautiful voice pops in my ear, I will let you know. Ah, there we go, and it worked. Okay, so it just seems to be one particular area where I'm not able to hear. I can hear you again, perfect. Okay, so we've got one jackal here. I wonder where the other two went. Let's just stop and see where this one is going to go. Good afternoon. In the space of one day, I have never seen so many jackals. This is incredible. I saw some this morning and this afternoon. Look at it go, look at that trot. Very similar trot to the wild dogs in the way that they move. Very energy efficient and very fast animals. I wonder where it's going without the other two. Okay, so it looks like the lionesses are not going to make another appearance, and it seems to be an area where we lose all communications. So for now, we are going to keep moving forward and see what we can see. That's the beauty of the Mara. You will never know exactly what you're going to see. Faith, I think you're talking to me again, but I'm not getting it. Oh. Let's try one more time and see if I can pick up exactly what you're saying. We're not having a very good day in terms of communications, are we? Okay, I have lost communications again. I cannot hear anything. So I am just going to keep talking, but I do know that Faith actually is asking me to answer a question. So I do apologise in advance for that, because I don't hear. I don't know what she's asking. I don't want to get too close to the jackal. I don't want to scare. So let's see if we can just take another little look. Are you able to get over my head, Archie? There we go. Very nervous. probably wondering, where did the other two go? I love it how they trot on roads as well. Many animals actually walk along the roads for so many different reasons. One reason being that it's much easier. It's much easier to go through the roads than it is, of course, to sort of jump or skip over the long grass. So they save more energy. And it's actually said to be much warmer on the roads. So many, many animals will use the roads, particularly at night time. Okay. We're going to keep going, and hopefully at some point I get into comms again. Archie, are you getting comms? No. Okay, so we're both completely in the dark here, but we will keep driving and try and see what we can find for you. I'm not actually purposely meaning to drive behind this jackal, but it is on the road. So we don't really have a choice but to drive behind it. Oh, there we go, it's bounded off. Look at that. Look how quickly you lose an animal once it goes into the grass like that. It's gone. You would never even know it was there. Okay, let's see. We might be able to get a view of it here. Hi, Jackal. Sorry to keep bothering you, but you're rather beautiful. Okay, I just hear Faith's voice again. It's so wonderful to hear you. Perfect. I do apologise about all this. I'm not sure why we keep losing you, but you are back with me. So possibly we can maybe try that question again. This jackal is on a mission. Okay, it's coming back onto the road again. Okay, so we're going to keep driving again. Mr. Jackal, you are in our way, so we're going to be behind you for a little bit. That was very frustrating about those lions, wasn't it? I really, really hoped we could see some lions, but they went flat. Typical flat cats. But let's see what else we can find out here. I can't go any faster because we do have a bit of a road jam. I'm trying to keep my distance too. I think it's really important just to not make the animal feel trapped or like we're approaching upon it, which we're not trying to do, of course. So we'll just give the jackal a little bit of space and cruise slowly along here. No. Okay. No, he's off again. What a mission this jackal is on. These animals are absolutely stunning. They are fast becoming one of the cuties for me. As you know, I'm already massively obsessed with hyenas and wild dogs, but these guys are just as awesome. Hearing Faith is talking, but I'm not able to hear what you said. So Archie has saved today, and I am going to send you back across to Taylor while we try and figure out what is wrong with our communications.
Well, you got the gist of it, Lauren, that's for sure. It seems like the gremlins are really ugly today. Maybe Trishana will do not Trishana, not Jane. Lauren can do one. Lauren's never done an anti-gremlin dance, has she? I know she can't really get out of her car, but she can work something out. She's a bright girl. So we're going to move away from Torchwood now because we've seen hardly any birds and no animals at all. So we're going to go to my favourite place in the whole wide world, Chitwa Game Reserve. And it's right here. Look at this. I think it's here. Yes, we can go into this road. Ta-dun-dun-dun. We're gonna go find a leopard. That's the goal. Nothing here though. So I don't know, Kuchava doesn't live in the same spot that she used to live in along that one drainage line. She's moved from there. But I think that's because of Tandy coming onto Torchwood. I think she's been pushed quite far east. And she seems to be spending a... But she's relaxed in the site. If she can hard to sneak away from you. So she doesn't love the vehicles as much as Sibuya loves the cars, or Tandi, or Tingana does, or Hukamuri. So when you find you kind of have to give her a little bit of space, and then she takes a couple of minutes, and then she's fine with you. Then she's completely relaxed. But it does take a little bit of time. Go away. Horrible flies. Everywhere. Today I shouted at them, and I think James thought I was maybe losing my mind because I was outside and I was reading. And the fly just kept pestering me. They were very, very rude. Okay. Where's the... Woo! Leopard tracks. Craig, I'll get out because I need to stretch my legs. Oh, my goodness. I'm getting old. Whew! That's exhausting. Just make sure that I'm decent. Joints get stiff from sitting around. They actually don't look very old, these tracks. But this is also quite a... no, they're not even... Where are my leopard tracks? No, there's also hyena tracks, but here's a leopard track. I'm going to stand out of the sun. Can you see it nicely, Craig? Sort of. Shall I bring it to you? Okay. Those were leopard tracks. If you can't see them, I'm very sorry. But anyways, there's male leopard tracks here from this morning, which is good. Maybe even after this morning's safari. So let us try and follow them. Okay, back we go. Who would have been walking here? This is Tingy Banana's turf, I reckon. So there's... Oh, conveniently walking down the middle of the road. Joy in Hong Kong, I don't know if Kuchava is still my favorite leopard. I haven't seen her in a very long time, and she hides away from me, just like the other leopards. No, she is. I think in the sand, she's still my favy gravy. Otherwise, Lisbon of Sabi, she was my ultimate. She still will always be my ultimate leopardess. She's so cool, but she's not alive anymore, so she was so cool. That was a great cat. She used to catch things right in front of you all the time. She used to come into camp. She was not afraid of anything. She was my hero. Where have the tracks gone? No, there they are. See, can you see what I'm looking at? I'm following those things there. Look, Maurice can also track. Yeah, that's enough nonsense. Craig, you have to look out for the leopard as well. See, okay, tracks are still here. So this cat was obviously on a territorial patrol, because every now and then you'll see the tracks turn away. Did you just sneeze, Craig? Bless you. Craig gave me a very sarcastic fake laugh now. And I don't have the tracks anymore, so let's just see if they go on this animal pathway. Maybe, I don't know, it's hard to tell. They could have gone down there. But let's just carry on a bit. The general direction is towards Chitwa Camp. So we'll probably go and head in that direction. That's going to be our plan anyways. Maybe he's been found. We'll chat on the radio too. So off you go back to Zuma Game Reserve, where James is trying his luck in the bushes instead of driving on the road.
Hello, everybody. Back again we are. We have not made it to the hyena den, but we've got this young elephant bull. I'm going to guess around 18 years old. Just kind of being very patient around us. He's eating a lot of grass. Unfortunately, he's decided to walk around the back and not the front. He's rubbing his eye now. We'll just give him a few minutes to go the other side. Here it comes. He's been very patient. I probably could start, but I feel like we've been driving around him quite a lot. I apologise for the aerials. I think he's going to move now, though. He's loving this grass. And I actually can't believe how relaxed and close he is. He's been totally calm around us. All right, let's try and move on to the road. We're not far from there. Unfortunately, the problem with bush this thick is that these animals don't ever stand still for any length of time. I'm just going to wait for him to walk out in front of us, I hope. He will now probably stop behind this bush and never move. Oh, well, you can see a tusk and a trunk. He's just smelling to see if he enjoys Sensor's aftershave or not. He does, so he's coming out. I suspect he'll probably head towards a pan now and find himself somewhere nice and warm. Now, I was about to get into this when our gremlins struck last time. We are doing a survey on Wild Earth expeditions, and it's a general survey. So for those of you who were on the last expedition and those of you who perhaps would like to come on a Wild Earth expedition, please go and fill out the survey if you would like to. That elephant is just having a small dump. And you can do that by going to the website, wildearth.tv, and you'll probably find the survey there. I'm not sure exactly which section of the website it's on, but you'll find it there. Otherwise, we will post it on all of our social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and there will be a blog which will explain how to get to the survey. It's very short. It takes about 2 minutes. I filled it in myself today, although I probably won't go on a Wild Earth expedition as I'm on a Wild Earth expedition permanently. So take about 2 or 3 minutes and just give you a bit of information on them and allow you to sort of suggest where it is you'd like to go and what it is you'd like to do. Okay, so if you could do that, that would be wonderful. You can go and do it now. No, you can't. You mustn't do it now. I'm going to catch up with that elephant. You can do it once I'm off air. He's such a lovely fellow, this. He's totally, he's like, you know when you meet a young man or young woman who are not yet sort of in the fullness of adulthood, but who have a presence of quiet confidence of I know who I am, and there's no angst or need to show off. They've just found out very early who they are. That's what this elephant reminds me of. I was not one of those people, unfortunately. He seems to be making a slight buzzing noise out of his trunk, which is quite interesting. Senak, I do know, and no, they don't like our smell. They hate our smell. It's what you want to mask from them most carefully when you're on foot around elephants. You do not want them to be smelling you because it's then that they react. They react to the smell of us actually quite often more than they react to the sight of us. So no, they don't like our smell at all. There isn't an animal out here that likes our smell. We are unpleasantly stinky to all the creatures out here. You can just see his bottom there. I tell you what, I'm not going to follow him for longer than we have because he keeps moving away from us. He's not that uncomfortable, but I don't want to pressurize him, especially as he's been so tolerant around me. So I think we'll probably, once he disappears after this beautiful bottom shot that we've got, we'll probably head off towards the hyena den. No, Renee, I don't think so. I don't think a one-tusked male would struggle to find a mate. I think that the struggle he will have maybe is in fighting off rivals. If he happens to go into a must, arrive at a herd with an estrus female and find another big bull there with 2 tusks, then he might have trouble fighting that other bull off. But I don't think it would make any difference in whether or not a female selected him as a mate. I don't think. I might be wrong, but I don't think it would. His overall body size might, though. He's a very nice shape, this elephant. You know, he's got the kind of rounded adult Kruger bull shape already and sort of miniature. He seems to have skipped the gangly teenager phase that many of these chaps go through. I don't know if you can see what I mean. He looks like a mature bull until you get up to him and you see he's quite short and small. He's having a bit of leaf on tree. morning had much leaf on grass and grass stalk. Ah, delicious bit of buffalo thorn there. And all the time, of course, that trunk is smelling. Absolutely. Debbie, animals definitely use the road more because the grass is too high. I don't think it applies to elephants so much. I think it applies absolutely to the cats and the hyenas and the smaller things like civets and maybe warthogs. You can imagine walking through grass this thick if you were only, I don't know, between 1.5 and 2 feet tall, even up to 3 feet tall. It'd be very difficult for you to see anything that was trying to kill you. And so, yes, I think that they do use the roads, absolutely. Certainly they do in the Mara. And in fact, interestingly, when you look at the Mara landscape, that long grass, they reckon is one of the drivers for us as human beings or hominins standing up on 2 feet so that we could see over the top of it and avoid being eaten by lions lying. So one of the reasons, possibly, that we as hominins stood up on 2 feet. Okay, we're going to leave him now. We're going to head down towards the hyena den. I keep promising to do that. We'll probably get there by 8 o'clock this evening. Okay. What a beautiful elephant. Really very nice. Our afternoon continues to be extremely pleasant. I was just saying to Trishala yesterday that we're going into, weather-wise, the best time of the year. The seat's about to come out of the car. Best weather time of the year because it's nice and warm. It's not too hot anymore. There's still a chance of rain in the air. And it's just the edge of the summer has come off, which is wonderful. So we've got another 2 months of nice weather before any form of winter hits us. Oh, you know, I said I was going to go to the hyena den and I may well end up there, but Taxon told me that he's got tracks of a male and a female leopard down near Twin Dams, which is just not far from here. I was distracted by the elephant. And so let's go and see if we can't give him a hand there. Well, wouldn't that be nice? Of course, the immediate thought is that they must be a mating pair, or could be a mating pair, certainly. And then, of course, who are they? Is it Tingana and Tundi? Is it Kuchava and the skittish male? Is it Sibui and the skittish male? Is it Hosana back again? No, most likely not Hosana back again. Then there was also an unidentified male seen on the Ottawa boundary, which is just south of... What's it south of? South of Elephant Plains the other day, coming towards us. So I don't know who that was. I think it's about time we got a young male leopard from somewhere else. We seem to have given all ours away. Tamba went down towards Londolozi in Mala Mala, as did Hosana. But we don't seem to have received any from them of late. Tamba, for those of you who don't know, of course, was a male leopard who belonged to Tundi, who is the Queen of Juma, and he'd be almost 3 now. Alrighty, let's go back up to the Maasai Mara, where Lauren has managed to find herself some radio signal and hopefully an animal as well.
So you're back with us, and I do have communication, so all is good with the world. We just raced ahead a little bit to move out of that tricky area, and we are back, so all is good. Now we are going in search of some lions, so we're heading in that direction to see if we can find a pride, as it just wasn't possible to show you those ones before. So I do apologise about earlier, it was a bit tricky. And I believe Taylor mentioned the anti-gremlin dance. Now that is something I've yet to see. I've been here quite a while and I don't believe anyone has taught me the anti-gremlin dance. So this is something I'm very much looking forward to seeing. And unfortunately I can't do it because I've never seen it. Very amusing. I will research this thoroughly and I will have the dance ready for tomorrow. But hopefully we won't experience anything like that tomorrow. We do not want that to happen. Now it's a little bit quiet out here. We did find a hyena. Yay! However, it wasn't in a very good signal area, so we did have to leave the hyena. But unfortunately, other than a beautiful landscape, we haven't actually came across an animal in some time. So I'm hoping, as we were a little bit late to today's drive, that we do catch some animals just in time. Now, driving these vehicles is a lot trickier compared to Juma. These babies are wonderful, but a little bit more difficult to operate than the vehicles at Juma, let me say. So it's very amusing for me trying to drive them. As you know, I am a wonderful driver. I have never almost killed my cameraman or crashed into a tree. Our Lara Moore is asking a question about elephants. So I know who's asking the question, I know the topic, but I'll have to wait for Faith to repeat it. It looks like our comms is not great, but it is something about elephants. So as soon as I hear it, I will answer that. If elephants meet apes in the wild. If elephants meet apes in the wild. I am not terribly sure about that question. I would imagine so. If they inhabit the same habitat, they will encounter one another. But in terms of do apes meet elephants, I have no idea. Sorry about that. Most animals that do inhabit the one area, the same habitat, they will encounter one another. And a lot of animals will be aware of each other as well. Even at Juma, I actually did a discussion on this on One Safari Live. I really do believe that our famous characters, for example, Corky and even Hosanna, my heartstrings tug a little bit when I say that name. They will, of course, be aware of each other. Now, not in the way of like your Hosanna, your Corky, but I believe they genuinely do know each other. They genuinely do recognize one another. That's my firm belief. So most animals that do co-inhabit the one area will encounter one another. Now, whether they actively avoid one another is a different story. There are many animals out here that do actively avoid lions. When they get the scent of the lions or they are aware that the lions are around, they will completely actively avoid them for obvious reasons. So do elephants meet apes? I'm really not sure. Sorry if that's not the answer you were looking for. Now, the sun is getting much lower here. So I'm just hoping that we still have enough light to actually find what we're looking for. I've had a fantastic morning. I can't be too greedy. I really, really did have the morning of all mornings. Oh, look at that landscape. We're driving right into the sunset. This could actually not be any more perfect. Now we just need some animals. I can't be too greedy. I can't have everything in one day because it really was a top of the morning show. Top of the morning to you. That's my Irish accent for you all. So I did mention earlier that I need a booster seat. I also need a booster seat in Juma. I need to just be that little bit higher in order to see over the grass. So it's not going to happen naturally, unfortunately. So I'm going to need to grab a pillow or a cushion to just get myself that little bit higher. We managed to get some booster seats in Juma, but obviously they forgot short little people like me are coming to the Mara. So that's my mission for tonight, to find a booster seat. I didn't think I would actually need a booster seat after being a child, but apparently you do. Red Matt is asking what type of jackals do you get in the Mara? Now that obviously we saw earlier the black-backed jackals. Now you do also get the side-striped jackals, which I haven't personally had the pleasure of seeing yet. Now there are some other, sorry I'm just avoiding a pothole, there are other species of jackals. There's a golden species. I'm not 100% if you do get them in the Mara, but you do get the side-striped ones. So it would be absolutely wonderful to encounter another species of jackal. They're just very, very fascinating animals. I mentioned it this morning, but even the vocalizations that they make are just very adorable and very loud for such a small animal. So yes, there are actually many species of jackal, but those are the two that I'm aware that you get in the Mara. Okay, it's getting a little bit, we're losing a little bit of light out here. And this is when it starts to play tricks on your eyes. Romit's asking, have I ever seen a bat-eared fox? Funnily enough, I was just going to mention them. No, honestly, I haven't. So that is actually, I should have mentioned that earlier in the question earlier. That is another thing that I am really looking forward to seeing. Cheetahs and a bat-eared fox. Oh, of course, and a pangolin. I can throw that in. The chances are much lower with the pangolin, but you never know. You really never know. So a bat-eared fox is definitely up there on one of the things that I want to see. I know that Steve has had some fantastic sightings with them. So hopefully, in the time that I am here, I will get to see them too. Oh. We're really not having much luck out here, are we? Gemma's asking, in my free time, do I go on drives to enjoy myself? And yes, I absolutely do. However, today I tried to catch up on some sleep, which is very, very necessary for me right now. And I just don't be able to seem to drift off. I think I'm physically and utterly broken and overtired, which is preventing me from sleeping. But generally, yes, I do. I like to be out in the wilderness as much as possible. The more you're out there, the more you're going to see, the more things you're going to come across just by spending more time out here. I did the same at Juma as well. The more you're out, the more you're going to learn and the more you're going to see. And we're all learning. Everybody's still learning. It's impossible to know everything. So everybody's always researching and trying to stay on top of all the knowledge and the research here with the animals that we see, which at the minute is obviously none. Luck is not on our side so far with the communications or with the animals, but now I think I have to send you to James, but that could be wrong. You could be surprised and get Taylor, because again, I'm having comms breakups. So it's a 50-50% chance and I'm going to go with James.
You are not wrong. It is I. You may ask yourself why we have stopped moving, why we are doing another segment based on silence. The answer, of course, is that we are hoping to hear the carnal act being performed by two leopards. There are tracks of a male and a female in this area, and as we know, leopards, solitary animals, but for mothers moving with their cubs and males moving with females. And the only reason males move with females, of course, is to engage in procreation. And so we are listening. Did you hear that? No, Charlotte's just shaking her head and rolling her eyes backwards. Anyway, for those of you who don't know, leopards mating make an enormous noise. A great growling and gnashing of teeth takes place. And so it's often quite a good idea just to stop and listen if you think they're in the area. I've been parked here now for about 3 minutes, so I think it's getting awkward now, so we should probably move along. We're going to move very slowly. And in case you were worried that it's only us struggling to find leopards, everyone is struggling at the moment. I'm listening to the radio at the moment to a great deal of complaining from various quarters that they are very difficult to find at the moment. All right, Taylor McCurdy.
Look at this. We've got a waterbuck that, of course, is about to disappear. Why, animals? This is literally our entire day. And then Craig doesn't want me to sit here because he says the light is funny in my face. Hey, Craig. Or it might just be my face. Okay, I'm going to... am I going to reverse into the wall, Craig? Or should you just go until I hear a bang? Am I good? Okay, well, that was a waterbuck bull. That was very rude and has been fibbing to us the entire afternoon because it was snorting at nothing, at absolutely nothing. So I thought I'd show you him, and now he's gone. So he doesn't get showed anymore. He's out. We're moving on. We are at Chitwa. Oh, there's a fight. This is what we were hoping for. All the waterbuck bulls seem to be, well, not particularly happy with one another. They're all looking in really good condition. Look how fat they are. Look at all that muscle. Well, these boys don't have particularly massive horns, I would say. In terms of their horn length, they're quite average. Average doesn't have a D in it, Taylor. You know me, I like to make up my own words. Here's a couple of females spectating. A few impala. All come to watch the show today. It doesn't look like it's anything too serious, though. But they're still keeping an eye on one another. It's interesting. It's amazing they've all come down to this particular area. It's like it's a big arena, and this is where the battles will be held. Can you guys please turn and show us how big and strong you are? No, now they're kind of going their separate ways, or sort of. They're quite far away from one another. But when waterbuck do fight, it can be quite serious. They're one of the antelope species where it will often end in a fatality, and they get exceptionally aggressive. So over the next couple of days, I think I'll be visiting in this area, and maybe we'll be lucky enough to see a fight to the death. Not that you really want to watch something like that. It's quite gross and gory. Scenic, potentially. I mean, the gestation period for a waterbuck cow is about 9 months or so, maybe just under 9 months. So it could be that time of the year. Look, that male seems to be quite interested in that female. See how he's licking his tongue? Oh, yes, there's the... Yes, you can see he's exceptionally excited right now. Hello, waterbuck. Thank you so much for making it awkward. This will be the first time I've ever seen a waterbuck. I don't think he is, but going to try and mount a female that is sitting down. Normally they stand up when they perform this, so that's obviously what got the two boys a bit riled up, is maybe there is a waterbuck cow in estrus. Right. Oh, well, it worked. You got her to stand up. Okay, she doesn't seem to be fighting him off too much. Maybe she's also excited. But of course, antelope species, they mate because they have to, because it's the way that they survive. Now he's going to be all lovely and sweet and rub his face all over the rear end of that female to show her how much she loves him. He loves her, sorry. Not really. This would be a nice story, though. I could think of all sorts of jokes, but they're inappropriate, so I won't be saying any of them out loud. They'll live in my head forever, and you can all just wonder. She looks quite fat already, though. Gator, ha 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 ha. I like that. You've said that it seems like there's more than just gremlins in the air. There's love too. I mean, I don't know. She's not particularly impressed. I think she's kind of just saying, can you just get it over and done with, Bob? I've got things to do. Got to get to the shops. I don't actually know what waterbuck do in their spare time. but they're all so fat. All the animals look so healthy at the moment. It is awesome, especially Impala, the Impala rams, and hopefully we'll get a closer look at some over the next little while. We'll just follow the Waterbuck for now. They also, they look like stockings just filled with a lot of food, and they're bursting at the seams. You see, look how he taps her with his front leg. She's presenting herself. You can see how she's been lifting the tail away. She's not said no once to this Waterbuck, this bull, but he is just taking his time, so much so that she might turn around and go, cool, I'm done. You've had your chance. See, look at that. She's like, I'm going to just stand here and eat. You can do your thing. I can do my thing. No, I'm not interested. I'm going to run away from you. Bye. You can chase me. Yeehaw. Off she goes. Buddy, I think you missed your chance there. You took too long. Isn't that always the case? Right, off we go. Sorry, Craig. Threw Craig in the under the bus there. I just started the clocks. Just got to carry on driving now. Right, what are we going to look for next? We've been trying to find a leopard, but I don't know. Those male leopard tracks just disappear. But I am going to do another little loop around to see if a cat does pop out. Off you go to Lauren, who's a little bit ahead of us, an hour ahead, and the sun is starting to set. Shall we have a competition this evening?
So yes, we do have a beautiful sunset just setting over in the distance there. Would you look at that? Absolutely breathtaking. And I have traveled all over the world. I've seen many sunsets in many different countries. But let me tell you, nothing beats an African sunset. But we're not here for no reason. We are with the happy zebra clan of hyenas. Now, I promise you it's not been intentional to be a hyena sort of day. Although they are my favourite animal. Many of you will think I'm biased. We did literally just drive past them. It wasn't intentional. And here we are. So, hello, happy zebras. Come and, oh, look at that full belly. Okay. Just walking past the car at the minute. But we do have some little cubs in there that popped their head out. So let's see if Archie can use his amazing carrot eyes and find out if they're still there. We saw 2 little cubs. They just came out of the burrow. But there is a slight chance we may have lost them due to getting caught by this breathtaking sunrise. Oh, is that one in the grass there? Archie, you are incredible. There we go. Pretty impossible to see, but for those who have got fantastic eyes, there is a tiny hyena cub there. You can just see the ears twitching. It's adorable. There is another one. But they've just popped down, and it just fascinates me here how once an animal goes sort of down on its belly, if you like, you just completely lose it amongst this grass. So that's us seeing the North Clan today. Had a little catch up with them, and of course we're catching up right now with the happy zebras. I can actually see something over here, but I'm not sure if it's a hyena or not. Archie's eyes are way better than mine are. It could also possibly not be a hyena. Now, this is a time of day when the sun's starting to set. We do know hyenas around. Oh, the viewers are still talking about the sunset. Let's have another look at it before we completely lose the sun behind that landscape. Oh, wow. Honestly, you've never seen a sunset until you've seen one in Africa. It's just absolutely stunning. Look at that. And the colours that you're seeing are the colours that I'm seeing right now. A red sky at night is a shepherd's delight, as they say. I have no idea where that saying comes from, but I was taught it as a child. And the sky is definitely turning red and pink before our eyes. But as I was saying, this is the perfect time of night for hyena dens. Faith is just reminding me of the other part of that. Yes, a red sky in the morning is a shepherd's warning. Now, I'm not going to lie to you all. I do pride myself on being very knowledgeable about different things, but I really have no idea what those phrases mean. I say them a lot, but I really don't know the context or where they came from. So yes, a red sky at night is a shepherd's delight, apparently. If any of you do know where that comes from or what that means, please do share it with us. I can't keep saying it without having any knowledge about it. Paula's saying this is absolutely gorgeous. Yes, it's breathtaking. I feel very privileged and very lucky to be here and to be able to share it with all of you. Now, we are going to lose the sun very, very soon. You can see it's just keeking out there. Oh, apparently keeking's a Scottish word. My mum said I need to stop saying that. I didn't realise it wasn't a global word. So yes, I'll change it to peaking. I need to stop saying these terrible Scottish words that no one else understands. So the adult hyenas around this time do tend to leave the den areas, and they sort of start their nocturnal activity. Sorry, I just got distracted there because Becky is actually clarifying exactly what that means. And I think you could be right, Becky. You're actually reminding me of childhood teaching. So Becky is saying that a red sky at night is a shepherd's delight means it's going to be good weather for the next again day. And actually, I think you're right. I think you could be correct, Becky. Thank you for sharing that with me. Now, we've completely lost all sightings of the hyenas. So I'm just going to go forward a little bit because the adults have disappeared. Now, this is seriously bumpy terrain. And I'm just going to see if we can catch sight of any. And I'm going to go really slowly, of course. One, because I don't want to get stuck in a ditch. I'm priding myself on not being part of the Marshmallow Club yet. Many of you keep thinking I will be. Why do you all keep thinking that? But yes, I'm priding myself on not getting completely stuck yet. So let's wait and see. We're going to keep driving. This is where the hyenas were. I think the cubs have gone back into the den. Well, it was nice to meet you briefly, Happy Zebra Clan. I'm going to try and work my way through all the clans, but as I mentioned, I'm going to get really stuck into the Olololo clan in the next few days. Oh, we're just chasing that sunset. Oh, hello. Oh, the two cubs and the adults. I'm sorry, guys. We didn't mean to approach you so fast. Okay, we're just going to move. The little cubs were there. I don't know why I'm whispering. The car's louder than my voice. Why am I whispering? Okay. Hello. Okay. We have a hyena. And we have a little cub. Oh, and the little cub is chasing the adult there. How adorable. The little cubs are so small, they must be very young, that they're actually impossible to see above the grass here. I love to see the interactions between the cubs and the adults. Now, being dominant is obviously something that is passed down from the mother. And even with regards to, let's say, Plonk, who I've actually spent the most time with, they will not hesitate to show their dominance at even 2 to 3 months old to the adults. I have actually personally witnessed Plonk giving Pretty a really hard time. Now, that's obviously referring to the Juma clan because I've spent the most time with them. So these little hyenas can be really naughty. So we are going to try and possibly, I don't want to move the vehicle too much, see if we can get a better view of these little cubs for you. But for now, let's send you back down to James.
We have got a bird here at Twin Dams, and it is, as far as I'm aware, a wood sandpiper. Now, we know this because we sat here yesterday for a lengthy period, Trishala, Oli and me, and I'll tell you why it's the wood sandpiper. Firstly, it has got the yellowish leggies, which it's now hiding from in the water, obviously. Then it's got an eye stripe that goes over the top of the eye and stretches beyond the eye, but it's very thin. And in some of the books, that eye stripe is rather more pronounced than it is in reality. Then he's got quite spotty plumage at the back. and he has got a dark neck. He looks like he's stuck his head in the mud. And that is how we know he is a wood sandpiper. You can see his legs are yellow now. I hope. I can see that with my binoculars. I'm not sure if you can see that. And he'll be looking for little invertebrates to eat. And I think Lauren was talking about niche overlap a little bit earlier. And there's no question that his trophic niche, or his diet, will overlap with those of a number of other wading birds. I imagine he eats many similar things to the blacksmith lapwing, for example. They have both arrived at the same strategy for survival. Let me just check what he eats now. Oh, that's very interesting. A number of you apparently can hear some fish eagles, which means that your ears are infinitely superior to mine and indeed that of this camera. No, there are no fish eagles calling around here. I'm not sure what that would have been. Maybe just the combination of a starling quite far away. That's the only bird that's really calling with anything other than the cooing of the dove. I'm just reading what this bird eats. A wide range of aquatic and terrestrial insects, as well as mollusks, worms, small fish and frogs. So it'll even eat small fish and frogs. As with so many of these carnivorous creatures, they'll pretty much eat anything they can catch. Joy, I have no idea why they've decided to call this thing a wood sandpiper. I couldn't begin to tell you. I'll have a look in my bird app, however. Its a zoological name is Tringa glariola. That's quite nice. Tringa glariola is Latin pertaining to gravel, so that makes no sense at all. No, I can't tell you why it's called a wood sandpiper, I'm afraid. I can tell you that in Xhosa it's called ututula or kuku. You know what that means. I can tell you in South Sotho it's called lamau, and in Xitsonga it's called nwanchekucheku, nwanchekucheku, or Xitsantsana. No explanations on why it's called a wood sandpiper. Oh, in German, here's a nice one. Bruchwasserlaufer. Bruchwasserlaufer. This is a Bruchwasserlaufer. Very nice. French, Chevalier Sylvain. Sylvain. Portuguese, I don't. I don't know how to pronounce this first part. It's Macharico bastardo. Macharico bastardo in Portuguese. And in Dutch it's a bosreiter. Sorry, I missed that question. I'm afraid. I was too amazed by the bastardo name. Spara, I think you might find the odd wood sandpiper on the ocean shore. I actually don't think inland water near the shore, much more likely on estuaries. Let me just check for you. Habitat. Wide range of open freshwater habitats, including shallow sewage ponds, overflows, dams, pans, marshes, floodplains, muddy edges of streams and rivers, and any water body down to the size of a puddle. Marsh-like waters. Conditions favoured over open shorelines, so marsh-like rather than open shoreline, especially where there is moist soil and very shallow water. Also small muddy estuaries with salt marsh, but generally absent from tidal coastal habitats, except where there are freshwater seeps, in rice paddies in Mozambique, for example. How do you like them apples? Okay. I wish I'd be able to remember all of that, of course, rather than having to read it to you, but I'm afraid I had to read it to you. Let's have one last look at our wood sandpiper. And then, oh, there are two of them. No, one is a three-banded plover. Not going to look up the Portuguese name for that. Who knows what horrific words we'll come up with. So peaceful here. Just the odd grass frog going tick, 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 tick. And the starling in the background, making a call that can only be described as fairly harsh. Still no sounds, I'm afraid, of the leopards engaged in making more leopards. And we'll just have a quick look at the sunset. Thank you, Senzo. Let me get my head out of the way. Beautiful sunset, isn't it? I know you've had one in the Mara. It's not often, of course, that we give you 2 sunsets a day, is it? I think that's a rather kind offering on our part. Just about to go down. And then I really think we'll probably go to the Hyena den, because I can find no sign of the tracks that Taxon found around here. Also the call of the Diederik's cuckoo, which will stop calling very soon. Diederik's. Paul, are you wondering how many languages I know? How many accents or how many languages? Because the former is much greater than the latter. I speak English with a relative degree of competence. I speak extremely bad Afrikaans. And I speak extremely bad Zulu and extremely bad Shangaan. So I suppose you could give me 2. 2 in total. But 4 sort of. But I don't speak German or French. I wish I spoke French, actually. It's interesting, you know, the first bird of the morning to call is normally a grey-headed sparrow. And you can actually hear one now going chip, chip, chip. Gorgeous sounds. I can see the sparrow, but we'll stay on the sun. The sparrow is less impressive than the sun. Senzo, is that an artistic impression of the sunset, is it? Senzo are about to pull what's known as a focus pull. There we go. Well done. Franklin's playing their sunset fanfare. A few laughing doves going. So nice that they can still laugh at each other after all this time. I'm reminded of a question asked of Corley yesterday during the abortive school drive. We had to unfortunately abort the drive because of bad internet. And one of the kids said, "Corley, why do hyenas laugh?" And I think his answer was because they're quite good at telling jokes, or something along those lines, which I thought was quite amusing. I hope the kids didn't go home and tell their parents that that's why hyenas laugh. Sounded like a bird. I don't recognise the call there. Hello, C. Hunt. You say there's nothing better than an African sunset. Certainly there are very few things better than an African sunset. I certainly can't think of one offhand. I would agree with you. Again, I've also told you this story before, but some of you won't have heard it. But on a game drive once, it wasn't me as the guide, but another guide was driving along, and he said to, oh, it was a pin-tailed wider, that's what it was. No, that's not what he said. Anyway, the guide said, don't you want to take a picture of the African sunset? You know, you've come to Africa, take a picture of the African sunset. And the guide looked at him and went, at least the guest looked at the guide and said, we have got the sunset in Germany as well. Which I thought was fair enough, really. I don't know if you can get that bird there, Senzo. There is a pin-tailed wider. It's just flown down there. Can you see it flying to the left? You see this tree straight in front of us?
Yeah.
With the weaver's nests in it?
Yeah,
up above that, just behind that. Up above, go up a bit. Up, 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 up. Yeah, and straight in there. Zoom in there.
The one that on top there.
Yeah, that's it, you got him. That's him. The pin-tailed wider. Beautiful, as they say in South Africa. That's how we say the word beautiful. We say beautiful. Okay, we're also going to go and find some hyenas. Well, in fact, Trishala's going to go and find some hyenas. I'm going to get out of the car and go away while you go up to the Maasai Mara with Lauren and hyenas.
So I am being absolutely spoiled today for complaining for the past 3 months about my lack of hyena sightings. I did complain a lot. They're just everywhere. We left the happy zebras and we continued on to try and find some lions, and we just keep encountering hyenas on the road. Now, this one we're looking at here does look like your average hyena, but let me tell you, we actually just had 3 walk towards us that both Archie and I said, they almost look like different species. Now, it wasn't, but they look so different from the other hyenas. They were very, very dark. They didn't look like your normal hyenas, and they have gone completely behind us. We did miss them. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to catch up with them, so I think it's better we do continue to move on to try and complete our original mission, which keeps getting halted by the hyenas at every stop. I wonder whose those hyenas were. They were so dark. I've never personally seen a hyena with that dark of fur. Now, obviously, they're quite light with the spots. I've never seen them like that before, so it's a shame we didn't manage to get them for you. But I wonder exactly which clan those ones belong to. So obviously the sun is going down, so the nocturnal animals are, of course, coming out. It's that time of night where many animals will start hunting. So this is exactly why we did hope to try and catch up with the lions. Whether it's possible or not, whether the hyenas keep roadblocking me, you never know. I'm just amazed at the volume of hyenas, well, not the volume, the amount of hyenas that we have here. I'm being very, very, very spoiled today. And as I have mentioned to many of you, it is my mission. I'm going to bring my camera with me and start getting more up-to-date IDs of them all. So you will hear me clicking away. It's a great excuse to take photos while live. Don't tell James. But no, seriously, to get some more up-to-date ID photos of them all and start working out who is who. Now, I think it was Makeup Girl is asking, what is the most active nocturnal animal? Oh, what a tricky question. What is the most active? I'm going to have to use some brain power to answer this one. Now, I guess it could depend on what you mean by active, but obviously we're just talking about the nocturnal animals here. Of course we are. Now, let's take lions, for example. Now, as we know, they are busy during the day. Sometimes they do more than just sleep, but they are predominantly nocturnal. Now, from what we see of lions during the day, many people think that they are very lazy. They have sort of earned that reputation. but lions will walk and walk and walk for miles at night. They expend a lot of energy at night, not just walking, but also searching and also hunting. And this is what we don't get to see really, because we're obviously not out at 1, 2, 3 a.m. in the morning. Well, sometimes we are, but generally we're in bed, so we don't get to see that side. So lions are very active during the night. Hyenas are also completely active during the night. Many animals are. Even leopards will move quite a distance in the nighttime. So I think with regards to that question, any nocturnal animal will be active at night because that's the time. The diurnal animals will be active during the day. They will travel, they will feed. That's what they will do during the day, whereas the nocturnal animals will do that at nighttime. But that is a tricky question. I hope I answered it. But any nocturnal animal will come into its... Oh, I thought I saw something there. Yeah, any nocturnal animal will come into its environment at nighttime. So just like me and also blonde, I'm going to send you down to South Africa to see Miss Taylor, who's also on the road.
We're going too fast, we can't slow down. We're playing a game. It's called a game where I have to put the foot on the brake and ruin the game. So what we did just now, it was really funny, is I put the car in neutral and we just glided. And I said, wherever the car stops is what we'll talk about next. And as the car stopped, an elephant stood out in the road. It was fantastic. Craig, it did happen, hey? But people can't hear you, so can you show them with your hands that it happened? How it happened? Thank you, Craig, for participating. That was great. Round of applause, everyone, for Craig. He'll be here all night. Yes. It's always an achievement when you get Craig to do things. Ah, wonderful. Also, you guys have to see Craig now because he's cut his hair. So he looks different. He heard I got a haircut and then he wanted to be just like me. What? Did you also want to look like Brent?
Brent?
Yeah. Oh, no, Brent's hair's not short. Never mind. Oh, a vulture. Look at the top of the tree, a vulture. So... yes, Craig has got no hair. He's got a schoolboy haircut now, so we'll have to sneak him on camera at some point. Don't worry, I got your backs. You know, I'll try and put him on at some point. There's a white-backed vulture sitting in the tree watching the sunset. No, it's not because it's facing south, so it's not watching the sun set at all. "30 people wanting to see Craig with the short hair. Will he do it tonight on Safari Live?" Craig? I'm not saying that out loud. Faith? That's a crazy word. Oh, there's a little something else that just flew past. Craig, please. Why not? It's in your contract that you have to. Go. The people want to see Craig with short hair. The people will get Craig with short hair as he zooms into the vulture. Okay, Craig's being lame. It's fine. Instagram, everybody. I'll catch him eventually. He can only wear his hat for so long. His hair's not as short as his vulture's hair, though. Don't worry. He hasn't got a shaved cut. Just roosting up there. I don't think this vulture will go anywhere, and I also don't think that this means that there is a kill nearby. It is just a roosting spot. A good spot. Nice evening. It will then be facing the sun tomorrow if it doesn't decide to turn around during the middle of the night. And then there's Craig. There's another bird just in front, off to the right of the road. And there is a hornbill. Hello, hornbill. Do you think we can roll towards it, Craig? Should we try? It's working. We're trying to be sneaky. We'll never know we're coming. It's looking a little bit suspicious. Craig, should we look at the bird and I'll go really slowly? Oh. Okay, wait, stay like that. I'll do it again. See if I start the car. It's a lot heavier than you think. Got a Fred Flintstone at one other car. See, look, it doesn't know we're here. Has not spotted us just yet. We're so quiet. We're like one of those electric cars now. It's seen us. It's very suspicious. Do you think we can go right up to it if we be very quiet? Or do you think it's going to fly? We're going to try, okay. Craig had heard you level the camera. Craig ruined it, everybody. Sorry about that. Craig, do you just want to hit me with something right now? It did. Did you all see that? Craig leveled the camera and it went, and then the bird was like, oh, I've seen you guys. Had no idea we were there. I'm actually really hungry. Where's a white berry bush? I see that they've got fruit on at the moment and it's so delicious. Okay, wonderful. Right, I'm not going to be pushing the vehicles around anymore. I'm going to sit quietly and listen to see if I can hear any animals because I'm not having much luck at spotting them. And off you go to Trishala, who is looking at mushrooms and hopefully she's not going to try any.
Hello, everybody. It is me. I'm so glad to be back in the hot seat. You know, when James was on leave, it was so nice. You were all my friends, and now James is back, so I only get these little segments. But I'm glad to be back, showing me the first. But I have a bit of the sniffles, and James asked me if I have pneumonia, and I said, if he's lucky, I'll give it to him too. Anyway, I hope you all are well, and I'm glad to be back. And just before I go out on leave, so, final hurrahs for me. But I do have some very cute mushrooms here. And I say cute because I think that mushrooms are super, super cool. I've been doing a lot of research on them recently and have still come out mind-boggled, unfortunately. It is an absolute minefield. I've seen so many, read about so many, and I'm still kind of lost. They are an absolute minefield. But there are a few things that we do know. And some of the things that we do know is that these guys here are most likely called cracked mottle gilled or cracked mottle gills. And I don't know how close you can get in here, Senzo, but there's a few dead ones like this one right here. Can you see it? And can you see the gills on the underside? Hence the name. Now you get lots of mushrooms that have gills, and usually if they have gills, that means that they're not very edible. But every now and then, you get one that is edible, not good for you, but still edible, like these guys. These are called, as you would know them, psychedelic mushrooms. Yes, most psychedelics grow in dung. Like you can see, this is growing in a bit of elephant dung. And it's quite dried out now, which is probably why all these caps are starting to fall off. And mushrooms are fruits. So if you can imagine a fungi, then you have the mycelia, which is all that group of it's the equivalent of its roots. And that's the mycelia, and these things are the little fruits that come up. And originally when I saw this, I thought maybe the spores germinate really well in the dung, and I thought it was a process that happens afterwards, as in the dung gets dropped and then the spores come along. And that's what I thought at first. But actually, the spores land on leaves. And then these animals eat the leaves. And then it goes through the digestive system, and then it kind of hard or rigid outer shell gets digested and broken down, and then they sprout in the dung. And then you get psychedelic mushrooms.
Noriko says they look like oversized popcorn.
Noriko says they look like oversized popcorn. Well, I'm not going to try. Definitely not, otherwise we won't make it to the hyena den. No. Anyway, let me clean myself off, make my way back into the vehicle, and let us head off to the hyena den. Just give me a moment to plug in again so I can hear you all. There we go. Back again. So one of the things that I actually really missed before James came back was my little bit of history. The last couple of days it was as if something in science didn't happen for years, but today was an actual huge scientific feat. And you might actually know what I'm talking about this time, which is nice. So in 1953, the structure of DNA was discovered by Crick and Watson. Now, you know them from your books, I'm sure. Everybody knows Crick and Watson. Very famous biologists. And they discovered the structure of DNA. And why is that important, you would think? Because structure is just a structure. But knowing the structure of the DNA meant that they knew how DNA replicated. So they knew the structure, they knew which... just having a look here for some tracks. So they knew which proteins matched with which ones. So very cool, I think, at least something happened in science in this day. Then for the last couple of days it was as if nothing much happened. In fact, last time I looked properly and I actually found something, it was a vacuum cleaner. I'm thinking, how on earth am I going to link a vacuum cleaner to something? And I thought, hyenas, because they're like the municipal workers of the bush. They eat up everything that nobody else wants. Yeah.
It's that hyena with the three-lobed foot.
So we stopped because something had gotten James' attention. It was obviously what looked like an alien at first, but it was the hyena with the three-lobed foot. Off we go to the den. Please excuse my sniffles. It is definitely not pneumonia. It is a spot of hay fever, which is a bit exacerbated by my contact lens. How does that work? I'm not sure, but I'm sure it has something to do with my tear ducts. And sinuses, of course. Now, James did say to you that the evenings are becoming really nice and pleasant and no longer suffocating you because of the air that you're breathing in is hot, and that you might actually have a pleasant sleep. That's exactly right. The weather is starting to get like that, which I quite like. Although I do like it when it's really hot, but sometimes when it gets too hot, it becomes hard to breathe. It really does. Oh, I found another interesting plant. Actually, let's see if we can... Ooh, sorry, James. See if we can get it. Where are you? Senzo, it's next to you there. Can you see it? Actually, that's not the plant I thought it was going to be. I was looking for the Bushman's poison bulb. Looks quite similar, but I don't think that is the right one. Oh well. I saw some other candidates up ahead. Let's investigate. It's quite an obvious looking plant. It's a bulb just like that on the ground. But each sort of blade is quite wavy. Okay, well, while I head off to the hyena den, let me send you over to Lauren in the Maasai Mara. Yay, I miss Lauren.
Oh, my darling Trishala, I do miss you very much, very dearly. Now, I do see some glowing eyes up ahead of us. Now, you know, glowing eyes means that there is an animal. So I'm just trying to figure out where it is and what it is before I drive full head speed into it. Now, just for an update, it's obviously very dark here, and we have came back to the area where the lionesses were. I'm determined to at least try my best. It was rather frustrating for me earlier that we had to leave that area. So this is why we have came back. And of course, spotlighting at night time is really not easy. It's not an easy feat at all, but I am doing my very best. And of course, we are just looking for that reflective glow of the eyes from the special reflective layer that a lot of predators have. Come on, little birdie, please move. Oh no, you must move. I have a fear of birds on the road. I'll tell you why in a minute. So yes, most predators and nocturnal animals, like we were discussing earlier, have this reflective layer, which makes them completely suited to be nocturnal animals for seeing in the dark, which we do not have. And it is, of course, called the tapetum lucidum. Now, that's a Latin word, but I'm sure many of you have heard it before. This is what we actually see when we spotlight. We see the reflective layer bouncing back at us. So we just see a pair of eyes. And it's not predominantly based to land. Good birdie, fly off. It is, of course, very much present in sharks and other fish that live in the sea. So also at night time, if you're ever doing a night dive, I'm not sure if any of you have experienced that. It's a phenomenal experience, but it is very eerie when you're underwater and it is pitch black and you have to use your torch to navigate underwater. It's one of my favorite things to do, and of course you will see that reflective layer on the fish and the sharks as well. So it's not just land. Dan is asking something about Mara and Juma. We are in this hairy signal area again, Dan. I do apologise. Is it clearer? I'll just wait till Faith confirms that I've actually got this question right. Scarier, sorry. Okay, my bad. Dan, scarier. Do you know, I haven't even thought about it, actually. I guess possibly so, due to the high level of predators and animals out here. It's definitely not somewhere I would want to be walking at night time, not that you would be allowed to do that. Yes, I would say it is a little bit scarier when I actually put some thought to it. It's very, very, very dark. Pitch black at the minute, and we literally just have the lights from the car and from the spotlight. And me, I have to hold the spotlight very high. Hashtag short people problems. Archie was helping me earlier. He is obviously a little bit higher on the vehicle than I am, and he happens to be a very tall human. So it's much easier for him than it probably is for me. Now, I'm not seeing any eyes bounce back at us at all. It's most likely those lioness actually got up and possibly began hunting for the night. Oh, it looks like we have got my favourite animal down in Juma. So let's go to Trishala and see exactly who she has.
Fox. Just look at those faces. Lauren would be absolutely envious. I'm sure she is. Just look at that. Those are the cutest things. Now we are here at the hyena den, the Juma clan den, and these two little ones, cute little black things, are tiny little cubs of Junes. And June is a female that we have around here, and I don't think she's around at the moment. There's one adult around. I haven't had a good look yet because I've been so concentrated on these little bubbas here. And there we have one of Pretty's cubs, another adult female around. Is that Corks?
Oh, the adult looks like Corky.
Yeah.
That's not Plonk.
No, that's not Plonk. So that's Corky on the ground there, and this is definitely one of Pretty's cubs. So Pretty's cubs are older, of course, than the other two. So we are currently missing Pretty's other cub, similar size and similar color, and of course Plonk. Plonk is Corky, the matriarch's son, and he is a similar size to this. Oh. Hyenas will do this often. They'll kind of dig themselves a small depression and lie in there This is the first time I've seen this little one do it, though. Maybe it's a learning curve. Oh, there we go. We have a half-hearted greeting ceremony going on here. Very, very cute. Oh. Now you saw that half-hearted greeting ceremony, and the little one picked up that, oh, maybe we can sex them here. I'm gonna have a look with my binoculars. Oh, and can you see what they're doing? He's actually anal pasting, so you can see he's got his nether yay out, and he is going over. I'm saying he because it looks like there's a bit of a neck on his penis there. Let's just have a look with the binoculars. Oh, stop running around. But it just kind of went over onto the grass and sort of half straddled it. And by doing that, there's a little bit of an anal secretion that he'll put out onto the piece of grass. And I think with spotted hyenas, they do it on a clump of grass. And what that will give, or the purpose of that, is of course to be territorial. And also, individuals can actually be identified by those. Said Sharon. Sharon asked if hyenas allosuckle, and they don't, which I found odd. It was one of the few animals that I have read about that live in a close-knit society that don't actually allosuckle. Each mum will suckle only her own cubs. But I wonder if that has a lot to do with the hierarchy and the dominance or submissiveness that could have come with it. But whether there's actually a boost or something like that of hormones in the milk where only the actual mum wants to feed her cubs. Diane wants to know if male or female has a pinched end. It is the male that has a pinched end. And when I say pinched end, and for a long time I didn't quite understand this properly until I actually saw it. It's kind of the neck, if you can think of it like that. The neck of the penis is sort of like a hairband is around it. Think of it like that. Maybe an awful image, but it works for me. Whereas the females looks almost as if it's just straight down. And I always find it difficult with cubs, and I don't want to call it if I'm not sure. Now, a lot of books will say that if these two being born at the same time were both female, then there would only be one of them alive at the moment. But some books say that and some books don't. So there's a lot of research that goes into hyenas, and still a lot of it is inconclusive. It is thought that females will fight till the death. There he goes, eating a bit of grass. This is a nice time for the cubs to be out. I wonder if they'd ever go down and have a dip in the Olympic-sized swimming pool they have outside the resort. But I've only ever seen the adults in there. Thoroughly entertaining to just sit here and watch them. There's so much you can learn here that you just cannot learn in the books. Like I said, if they were both female, then I'd often read that they will fight till the death, and it's basically a dominance thing. They need to fight for who's going to be dominant. But if it was male and female, then it's not so much the case. But I don't know. Some books say not as well. Maybe both can survive. So sitting at the den helps a lot with learning all of these things. I think it's quite cool. Now, where is Plonk? Yesterday, Plonk and one of Pretty's cubs went gallivanting into the bushes, and we couldn't see them at all. And then I think even Corky couldn't see him. And then we heard Corky sort of whooping, and there was a bit of a shocked expression and a bit of excitedness, and we're not sure if she didn't know, and now she has gone looking, and then she did go looking, and then she found him, brought him back, and then pushed him to the side, almost to give him a talking to. What are you doing? You are looking for trouble. Very, very interesting. Well, I'm going to sit here for possibly much longer because I love being at the hyena den with these little ones. In the meantime, let me send you over to Taylor, who's looking for a heartbeat in the bush.
The hyenas are lovely, you're quite right, Trishala. So, we are going along Cheetah Cut Line now. We're going to head towards Buffelshoek boundary because I completely forgot that there were lions on the property. Now, I know that they weren't in the greatest signal, but because it's a little bit later, it's nice and cool, perhaps they'll get up and go on the move. So, I'm driving a little bit faster than I normally would just because we've got limited time and we were really far away. Remember, we've been on Chitwa and Torchwood pretty much the entire afternoon. So we're going to head that way. I thought that that'd probably be the most direct route. But it's really interesting because everybody in the Sabi Sand, well, not everyone, I'm exaggerating again, but everybody in the northern Sabi Sand is so desperate for lions. Not joking. Literally, I just got a phone call from one of the guides in the area going, do you know where the Nkuhumas are? Are they still on your property? If they're on the move, you need to let us know because they're really worried that their guests are not going to see lions. Now, if you are coming in safari, you really have to prep yourself for the fact that you probably won't see all the animals you want to see. And I always think that that's super important. I always try and tell people, come with no expectations. Just be surprised. Sometimes you win and you see everything and more, but it is nature and it's wildlife, and the animals really do just do what they want. We don't just say that all the time because we like to say that, but that is the truth. I cannot tell you how many times, and I'm sure James can tell you endless stories on how guests have left staying 3 or 4 nights, not even just 1 night or 2 nights, and not seen lions or not seen a leopard or a rhino or elephant, all these kinds of things. So it does kind of happen, but it's not a train smash. You can come back again. Hopefully that'll make you want to come back again and specifically go and search after that animal, which I think is quite nice. So we're just going to pretty much do that and see if we can find them. I'd love to see some lions. I haven't seen lions, well, since I was in Sri Lanka because there's no lions there. I did see a lion, but it was in the form of a bear, and it was a really cool picture. But other than that, that was it. So not as impressive, I'm afraid. I prefer the lions in real life. And I'm not talking about the rugby team either. Don't be mistaken there. Don't get confused. So we'll just keep going at a quicker pace than we normally do, just so that we can get within the area. I'm still looking though. Craig is still looking. Craig said that tomorrow morning when he's washed his hair, he'll be able to show you what he looks like on camera. He says he's a bit embarrassed. He's got hat hair, and that's why he doesn't want to go on camera. Hey, Craig. He's just sitting there. He's going to request not to drive with me ever again. Daniel, I think the lions are What are those things there, Craig? Is that just a term? Am I going crazy? Nah. I think I'm seeing things. Is it impala on the road? Anyways, far down the road, we're going to get closer to it. There are it is an elephant. It's the light coming through the legs that look like an impala. I literally saw this termite mound on the side of the road. It's not even a termite mound on the side of the road. What I saw was a termite mound, and this elephant is on the road. How I see these things. I don't know how I saw that. I literally saw... Oh, never mind. There's an elephant. Let me turn my lights off. Daniel, I'm most looking forward to seeing the lions, if I must be honest. Yeah. Craig, thanks for bursting my bubble. Now you're definitely going on camera. Yeah. Elephant, we have to find the lions. You have to move for us, though. Unless it's Daryl. Then we're going to talk. No, it looks like it's only got one tusk, so it's not. I know it's not Daryl. We're not far from the from Buffelshoek boundary anyways. Okay. We shall stop briefly at the elephant and then we shall go the long way around. Excuse me. We'll do the silent thing again, but I won't be getting out the car to push. This time we will just wait for the car to stop. So remember, we're not going to put any artificial lighting on the elephant because they don't particularly enjoy it. If you want to upset an elephant, then yes, shine a light in its eyes because that is the reaction you will get. Otherwise, if you want to be ethical, it would be good to switch your car off. And also keep a little bit more of a distance from them than what you would normally approach an elephant during the day, just because their eyesight isn't as great as at night, and they might be a little bit nervous of you too. But I think he's feeding on marula fruits right now. So he's probably not going to be too bothered with our presence at all. Well, that's awesome. I think he'll just feed into the thicket and enjoy his evening. Basically, he's having an amarula at sundown, is what he's having. That's like a very South African thing. So for those of you who have no idea what amarula is, it is a liqueur that is made from the fruit of the marula tree, or from the marula fruit. You've got to try some. And it kind of tastes like Bailey's, but it's much better. Okay, we're ready. We're going to say goodbye to this elephant because we want to see the cats. I want to see the lions, and I'm going to be selfish today. I'm also going to go off-road and hopefully not drive into a log. Okay, right. I'm driving almost in the dark. I'm probably going to drive into a log or something like that, so that should be quite fun. I don't want you to see that. So off you go to Lauren, who's in Kenya and is driving in the pitch black darkness.
Completely in the dark I am, and we have came sort of on a little track that has taken us in amongst the grass into the thicket. And going back to Dan's question earlier, yes, it is quite eerie. I think you put that in my head now, Dan, that it might be a little bit scarier out here than Juba. Not scary, just eerie. But going back to what Taylor was saying about never shining your light in animals' eyes, that's very crucial, whether you're on safari or not. It's also very crucial when you're on night dives and night snorkels. When I was working as a marine biologist, it's one of the most important rules that we actually give people on a night dive, of course. Do not, whatever you do, shine it directly into the animal's eyes. Now, when you're scanning like this, same as underwater, of course there's a chance you might accidentally scan it into a animal's eyes, but once you do see the animal and you do sort of register it, then we always advise that you just shine the torch in the area that the animal is in so that you can see it and everyone else can see it, but not directly in the eyes. So that was fantastic advice from Taylor there, and of course very important on land and in the sea. Now I do feel right now that we are in the very middle of nowhere with very little light. I think I was supposed to go that way. And it's not easy with the spotlight in your hand, so please bear with me. I'm going to reverse a little bit. And continue on. Trust me to miss the track. Jim is asking, did I get to go for a dive while on leave? And absolutely not. There is not a chance in this life, I would dive in Edinburgh, and I did spend my 2 weeks in Edinburgh. I have heard it's beautiful, but cold water is not for me. Maybe one day in my lifetime I will try it, but unfortunately no diving. I haven't dived in quite a while, but my next leave cycle I do have exciting diving plans, so I'll be able to share them all with you then. And as you know, I do always try to link the ocean to the environment that I am in and what I am seeing, because both realms are completely interconnected, and all animals, believe it or not, are sort of related in one way or another along the animal kingdom. So I do always try to put in my little bit of ocean knowledge as I go. Oh, car blimey, that was a bit bumpy. Now finally we're back on a normal road. Now let me just put the spotlight away. Oh, Cheryl's asking about my freediving skills. Am I a freediver? Yes, I am a certified and qualified freediver, actually. It's one of the things that terrifies me, but excites me at the same time, if that makes any sort of sense. I definitely don't take it for granted. I actually lost a dear friend's brother to freediving, but it's just something that's just so incredible, and it's almost impossible to actually describe to someone until they do it. So if I had to choose, I'm giving myself a question here, between scuba diving and freediving, I would 100% choose freediving. It is the most surreal, out of body experience, I guess, that one can have when you're able to submerge completely underwater without breathing and no scuba equipment. So if I had to choose between the two, obviously I do love them both. That is exactly what I would choose. So yes, Cheryl, I do also free dive. I also get lost in the Maasai Mara by the looks of things. Okay, so a few people are asking what freediving is, so do allow me to explain while I keep searching for some animals that are evading me at the minute. So freediving is when you have no equipment other than your mask and your fins, no tank full of air, no cylinder, some people call it, or aluminum, as some people in the US call it, no aluminium tank. And you have no oxygen, so you basically take a very large breath on the surface with lots of different breathing exercises, and you submerge yourself. You go down to as deep as you can go beneath the surface with no air. So you're basically holding your breath. And I think, well, I'm not sure exactly what the world record is, but I know that William Trubridge, if any of you fancy Googling him, does a fantastic free dive in Belize where he does the blue hole, and without any fins, he actually goes to 101 meters. Now, in feet, that would be, well over 300 feet. So, an absolutely incredible thing. I think he's under for about 6 minutes. Now, I am definitely not as good as that, but William Trubridge is fantastic, so he's definitely worth checking out. I am a sort of baby in comparison to that, but I do adore freediving. Okay, I'm not going to lie to you all. I am going to ask Archie which way I should go. Continue straight? Perfect. When I start talking, I do lose all bearings. I probably lost them long before then as well. So Archie's just keeping me on the right track. Everything becomes much harder when it's nighttime and it's dark out here. Now, we do have a little pool at Juma where I was actually practicing freediving with a few other colleagues, but unfortunately it is only about 1.5 meters deep, so we didn't get very far. Lauren's asking how long can I stay underwater? Now that's a very good question, because that's exactly what we were actually practicing at Juma. We were trying to outcompete one another and who could stay under. Oh, we have eyes. I'll come right back to you, Lauren. Let me just turn off and see if Archie can see exactly what those eyes are. Did you manage to see them? They are lying flat in the grass, so it means an animal either way. This way. Let's see if we can get a glimpse of exactly, or is it far too dark? Yes, I think it's far too dark, which is a shame. Let me just try and spotlight again and see if I can see them from here. Well, I can see them. I just have no idea what animals they actually belong to. There's definitely some sort of animal there, but unfortunately it is a little bit too far for us to see. Never mind, I will go back to answering Lauren's question, which was how long can I hold my breath? So my maximum was actually around 5 minutes, but that was many years ago now. I can assure you I definitely cannot reach 5 minutes now. Now, this wasn't when I was actually... Well, I can see those eyes again. This wasn't when I was moving, so this was when I was completely stationary, so I obviously wasn't expending any energy, and I managed to reach well over 5 minutes. So I was pretty proud of that. I definitely could not get anywhere near that again. I would need to practice. But my record on depth was 35 meters, which is well over 100 feet, I believe. So I'm not bad at going deep once I get over the being very buoyant factor. Unfortunately, females tend to be a lot more buoyant than males, as they do have a much higher body fat percentage. Even very slim females do tend to hold more body fat, so it's harder to get down. So I've not had much luck on this search, but it has been fabulous talking about water-related things. So for now, I'm going to send you back down to my darling Trishala, who's still at the hyena den.
Well, sometimes you need to hold your breath for 5 minutes when you're sitting with these guys. They can smell quite bad. But I must say today they're quite pleasant, or rather, inoffensive today. There have been times where Pa wasn't sure where that smell came from, and it was Corky, and she had yawned. Oh, can you imagine? Free diving breath holds would definitely be helpful. But like I said today, much better. Air smells quite nice and not full of hyena and scum. But I do love them anyway. Oh, so what we have here is Pretty, who has joined us, and you can see that her cub is suckling right there. Now we still have two naughty cubs that are AWOL at the moment, and that is Plonk and Pretty's other. Mina Moo, you would like to know at what age hyena cubs actually start hunting on their own. For a long time. Hey, there you are. Let's just see. Oh, and Plonk's out too. What were you guys doing in that den by yourselves? This is really interesting because they had already greeted Corky and Pretty had already greeted each other, but when Plonk came along, it was as if Corky needed to reassert her dominance, and she came in again while Plonk was being greeted. Excuse me. So they didn't come from the den; they actually came from the bushes, and this is a lot like the other day, yesterday, when they were busy doing something in the bush. Let's just listen to all of this communication that's going on. So much communication going on between them. It was almost sort of like a frenzy when everyone came together and the cubs rejoined. Did it go? And that seems like one of Pretty's cubs greeting Plonk there. There's Plonk with that horseshoe bit on his left thigh, very clear. You can see he's got one of Pretty's cubs' legs. Oh, too cute. A lot going on. So I say it's so entertaining to just sit here and watch them. Rob, that's a really interesting question. You want to know whether hyena cubs are as feisty as the adults are. Oh, that's really a subjective question, and in my opinion, I can definitely see how they develop into these feisty adults, because they really do have the curiosity and sort of the energy and attitude that the adults have, and sort of ingrained in them from the time they're quite tiny. Even these two little ones, June's two tiny ones here, they still kind of have a bit of feistiness to them. Like you can see now that they're sort of behaving quite submissively there. But I have seen them on top of Plonk, pulling Plonk's ears. So they kind of have that from the time they're really, really young. And you see that develop through. Very cool. Now, I would love to stay with these guys and love to have you guys stay with them. But let me send you over to Taylor, who's got something really, really exciting.
Well, finally, our Ferrari safari paid off. It's not our favorite thing to do all the time, but I really wanted to get the Nkuhumas for the last couple of minutes of show because, well, with them, you never know. They might vanish into Kruger National Park. No, I'm just joking. Their traverse doesn't allow them to go there, but they move away fairly often, and then we can never find them again because they go into areas where we can't drive. So literally they were last second lions, not even last minute lions, but here they are. We'll stay with them for a little bit so we have a better idea as to where they go and how we're going to find them in the morning, because I'll be driving in the morning, and you can bet that I'll be coming to look for these cats, and they're just starting to wake up, yawning, stretching. But thank you very much for joining us on this fun-filled safari. We hope that you join us tomorrow morning. We will do the same thing again. Cheers from all of us, and have a wonderful evening.